Welcome back to the channel where I've got something very exciting to share with you guys today. We're going to be making a website, a client website, in the shortest amount of time possible. Now, we're not going to be using Bolt, we're not going to be using Cursor, we're actually going to be using Klein. Now, Klein is an extension on Visual Studio Code, so if you go on Visual Studio Code and just press extensions here and write C-L-I-N-E and then install Klein here, make sure that you've got an Anthropic API key set, and then just on the side here you'll see a little robot, and then we have this here, which is where we put the prompt. Now, this prompt I've been working on recently. You can find the prompt in the description. I'm not going to go through the prompt right here, right now, but it's a very simple, very simple prompt with some basic documentation in it. And I'm just going to add a couple of things. So I'm going to say make sure to think about mobile, what's it called? Responsiveness and contrast on text versus background images. Make sure text can be seen both on light and dark backgrounds. And then, yeah, we'll just leave it there. So the prompt, very basic. It's just make a Nextjs website. And then there's a competitor here, which I copied one of their landing pages just to give it an example. And then we have something which is very interesting, which is Pixabay. Now, if I just go on Google, type in Pixabay API. Now, Pixabay is a free, well, it's not free, sorry, but you can use their API for free way to get images onto your website. Now, this is something new that was previously, I didn't even think this would be possible. What we'll do is we'll put the prompt here, and then we'll just scroll up to the top, and I'll just say put the name as find a plumber newyork.com, and then we'll just hit enter here. So Klein is way faster and way better than something like Cursor or whatever else it might be. So I'll help you create a Nextjs website. So let's just press run here. So I'm just going to press cancel here. I'm going to say you have to make the Nextjs project first. Duh. Don't know why the hell it would skip that step. That's the first time it's ever done that. Okay, so we've already got a file named that because I did make, I already made one of these, so I'll just say please just use a different name. It wants to delete my entire project. Why it would do that is just beyond me, but there we go. So we can press yes here, yes, blah. It's now creating the Nextjs project. And then from there, it will start to create the actual skeleton of what we're talking about. So the first thing I tell it to do, if you look at the prompt, is first download about 50 images from Pixabay and then use them across the site. Make sure they are stored in the public folder for later use. So what that means is you can actually create a website with images already inside it. So what we're actually doing is we're creating a website that we could either sell to a client once it's ranking, or we can do rank and rent, which is where you start to rank a website and then you rent the website to, for example, a plumber. So you can see here, it's just creating the CSV file here. So we'll just press save here. Really good, that's perfect. Now it's going to create a CSV file for all the different types of plumbing. Again, this is actually doing this itself. So if we look here, this is what it's supposed to be doing, services. But I really like the fact that it's adding this little bit extra here, okay? The reason is that can then be data that can be used on the landing page later. So I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later. It's now going to download a load of images from Pixabay. Again, this is new. No, I've never seen anyone make a video like this. I've never seen anyone show people how to do this specifically. Now, I'm not sure why, but it's been doing .js files recently. I thought for some reason that it had to be .ts for Next.js, but apparently you can use vanilla JavaScript for Next.js, so that's pretty cool. So you can see it's now downloading these images. How cool is this, by the way, guys? I've never seen this before. Never seen anyone make a video on this before. You can literally make what would previously take you 3 weeks to make on WordPress. You can now make it using Klein in about, I'm going to say 10-15 minutes, but the amount of times I've said that and then it takes about 3 hours is insane. So it's now moved over to .ts, like I was saying before. I did think the .ts was necessary, Next.js, but yeah, it made, just for reference, guys, I'll just show you this. So it's find a plumber newyork.com. I have already made one of these websites. You can see here I made this last night. How fucking cool is this? We have all of this really interesting, like, look at that. I can't believe it made that. So the reason I mentioned the contrast thing is because I was trying for ages to get this to sort this out, but it wouldn't sort it out. So let's just go St. Nicholas and then toilet repair and then find a plumber. You can see, look at this. This is the kind of thing that would take you hours and hours and hours on WordPress, okay? But it literally took me, an hour, half an hour to make this entire website last night. So we're hopefully going to do it even more quickly today, but we'll see. So one really cool thing about Klein is it feels like a step-by-step process that works. Whereas with Cursor, it always waits for your input. So that's the big difference here. I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is pressing save. Like, this is the new programming, just pressing save, which is really sad for the people who have studied programming. If you're watching this and you study programming, don't worry, you're still very, very much in demand, because people like me are going to make websites like this, which have errors in them, and you will still be needed to fix those errors, okay? But I do feel sorry for programmers, because some people are going to find it much harder to find work, because now you can just make a website using Klein instead of hiring somebody. So one thing that you might want to do in the prompt, and like I said, I'll leave this prompt in the description, but you might want to add your own phone number and stuff like that. So this is just the phone number from Plumbing BO, which is just one of the websites that I found on Google, and I liked their landing page, so I wanted to recreate their landing pages. You might want to add your own phone numbers, whatever it might be. Okay, if you have a client, add all of their client information instead of just using a competitor. Because right now this is actually building another Plumbing BO with Plumbing BO's phone number, which is right here. So that's obviously not what we want. But like I said, I'm just showing you guys an example of how to do this quickly and easily and programmatically. So one really good thing about Klein that I really like, okay, and another difference between Klein and Cursor is with Cursor, when there's an error, you have to copy and paste the error into Composer and say, fix this. With Klein, you'll see in a minute, it will actually run the server, and then you can cancel the server run, and it will automatically send all of the terminal logs to Klein and fix the problems without you saying, I think this is wrong, or whatever it might be. It will actually find out what's wrong itself, okay, and fix those issues. So Klein is much more hands-off. It's much less developer-focused. Like, you can literally have zero idea what you're doing here and make something really, really amazing. It's like Bolt, but it's better than Bolt, because Bolt tries to do too much at once, whereas Klein seems to me, anyway, I'm not 100% sure, but it seems to me that it builds a structure in the back end that you can't see, and then it tries to implement that structure piece by piece, which is a really, really interesting way of doing it. So we should almost be getting somewhere already where we can run npm run dev and actually see what it's done. So one criticism of Klein that I have is that it does do this. It creates things that you don't necessarily want it to create. I was trying to build an app the other day, and it kept doing really random things like adding middleware and stuff like that, and making everything way more complicated than it needed to be. So that's probably the main criticism I would have of Klein, is that sometimes it tries to do too much. So now it's building an About Us page. That's fine by me. I think About Us page is perfectly acceptable. So let's see if we have anything so far. Let's just check. There we go, it's compiling. Oh, okay. Well, I did that pretty quick, didn't I? But yeah, I mean, considering we've only been doing this for, 12 minutes, I mean, we've made some really, really good progress so far, you can see. So there's a few things that we want to change, of course, but I mean, it's pretty insane how quickly and easily. So it's really bad with contrast. That's one thing I will say. It's very, very bad with contrast. It seems to always be getting it wrong. So we'll just see out of this. I just wanted to quickly see how we were doing. So now it's installing all of these. Now it's doing, okay, now it's doing proper styling. So that might actually fix the problem. Okay, so now it's going to start the project. So this is where it gets really interesting. So it's going to start the project. I'll open it up. We'll see. Oh, okay. Nice. Still got a couple of issues with contrast. It's really, really bad with contrast. Also, some service pages don't exist. But I mean, look at that overall. It's pretty insane. So what we can do is now, I can literally just press Control-C, and then it will feed the errors from here into here, like that. So I didn't do anything there. This is the really cool thing about Klein. This is the big difference maker between Klein and Cursor, is normally I would have to tell it what the issue is on Cursor, and even potentially how to fix the issue sometimes. Whereas here, it just fixes the issue. So just so you know, guys, I did change this prompt just before I started recording this video. You can also do, if I just do a load of Control Zs here. Now, you can still do the whole directory website. So I'll put this original prompt up and you can decide what you want to do, okay? So if you want to do a website with other people's businesses and your client or your own business at the top, labeled clearly as an advert, like I said yesterday, use the prompt as it is now. If you don't want to make one of those websites and instead you want to make a website just with, a landing page, contact, FAQs or whatever, which in my opinion won't rank as well, but is maybe simpler, then you can just delete every reference to APIs, okay? So if I just do Control Y, if you read this now, I've just deleted everything about APIs, except where it says here, dynamically loading pages, but that's fine. And now this is just a prompt to create landing pages instead. So it's very, very simple. Just delete all the things that aren't relevant. I'll let you guys work that one out for yourselves. It's not too difficult. You just have to delete anything that mentions API. So we're still just letting Klein edit everything one by one. This is another disadvantage of Klein, is that it's a little bit slower when it has to edit every page because it has to do it line by line. Cursor, I would say, is a little bit quicker, but it's okay because it's quicker to make something overall using Klein than it is to use Cursor. So let's see, because I can tell that this is already bad on mobile. Yeah, it keeps doing this. I don't know why it keeps doing this. So the actual individual pages are working. So yeah, I mean, we'll probably leave the video there, guys. All you'd have to do is just say, look, I want you to change this, so we need to change that, change this, that, and the other. So we'll say, like, if I go back on Emergency Plumber, we could say the location pages. I'll just show you how I'd fix this. I'm not going to run through this now. So there are two ways you can fix this. Either one, you can just press Control C and just allow it to try and fix it itself. I would probably press cancel here and say, this is 404ing. Please implement individual location pages. And please make the text darker on the titles because the contrast is bad. And please make sure there's no horizontal scrolling on mobile. Okay, so that's pretty much all I would do here, and then we're pretty much ready to launch the entire website. So I just press enter. I'm not going to go through this now, guys. I think I've shown enough to show you that this is bloody powerful, and you can make a website like this in next to no time, which is kind of insane, to be honest with you. How quickly this was made is insane to me. I don't know what other people think about this, but like I honestly believe this is completely nuts that you can just make a website like this in what, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Completely nuts, guys. This was not possible previously. Now, obviously, there's some bad contrast around the website. There's some bad mobile, etc., etc. But I mean, these are all things that you could fix relatively easily. You could take it into Cursor, or you could just keep running with Klein. Now, one thing I will say is when you get to this point here and you want to still make edits, Klein can be a little bit annoying and it might do some random shit that you weren't wanting it to do. So just be careful with that. Now, the only thing you actually need to do is make sure that it runs npm run build. So if you run npm run build and it successfully builds, then you just put it on GitHub, put it on Vercel, buy a domain, you've launched the website. Okay, it's very, very quick, very, very easy. We're not going to be doing that in this video. I know I say that every time, but we're not going to be doing that in this video. I promise you, we're not going to be doing that in this video. I am going to leave the video there, guys, just because I think this is enough to show you just how strong this method actually is. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're watching all the way to the end of this video, you're an absolute legend. I hope this helps someone somewhere make some money, and I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out. Watch this video if you're interested in how to create a directory website to advertise your business today.